to every town and place where he intended to go. He gave them this charge. What a huge harvest, and how few the harvest hands. So on your knees, ask the God of the harvest to send harvest hands. Here's a harvest hand right now. Thank you. She was on her knees too. On your way, but be careful. This is hazardous work. You're like lambs in a wolf pack. Travel light, comb and toothbrush, and no extra luggage. Don't loiter and make small talk with everyone you meet along the way. When you enter a home, greet the family. Peace. If your peace is received, then it is a good place to stay. But if it is not received, take it back and get out. Don't impose yourself. Stay at one home, taking your meals there, for a worker deserves 3 square meals. Don't move from house to house looking for the best cook in town. When you enter a town and are received, eat what they set before you. Heal the sick, and tell them, God's kingdom is right on your doorstep. When you enter a town and are not received, go out in the street and say, the only thing we got from you is the dirt on our feet, and we're giving it back. Did you have any idea that God's kingdom was right on your doorstep? The one who listens to you listens to me. The one who rejects you rejects me. And rejecting me is the same as rejecting God, who sent me. The 70 came back, triumphant. Master, even the demons danced to your tune. Jesus said, I know. I saw Satan fall, a bolt of lightning out of the sky. See what I have given you? Safe passage to walk on snakes and scorpions, and protection from every assault of the enemy. No one can put a hand on you. All the same, the great triumph is not in your authority over evil, but in God's authority over you and presence with you. Not what you do for God, but what God does for you. That's the agenda for rejoicing. The gospel of our Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
You may be seated. That's the agenda for rejoicing. Not what we do for God, but what God has done for us. And one of the things that God does for us is that God invites us into God's mission in our world. In theological terms, we call it the Missio Dei, God's mission. God is on the loose. God is active in our world and gives us the joy and the privilege to enter into, come alongside of God as God transforms people's lives, transforms our world. Now, in an earlier chapter, 1 or 2 chapters before, Jesus sends out the 12, basically with almost the same instructions. You know, the disciples, the apostles. And you expect them to be able to, heal the sick and to preach the gospel and all that kind of stuff. We know their names, Bartholomew, Philip, Matthew, all of those recorded in history. But these 70, or some translations say 72, they're just common folk. We don't know their names. And that gives be great encouragement. We're mostly just common folk. No matter how we live our life, for good or for ill, when we die, and that name is on a tombstone or some other place, our children, maybe our grandchildren will remember us. But like in 2 generations, it's just like we're forgotten. We're like, who is that? And that's okay. It's God who's on the move and just using us as instruments, as vessels, to do God's work. Now, one of the things that I want to share with you is that when we gather together as a congregation, God is here. God is doing a work among us to change and transform us in this time of worship. And that's a wonderful thing. And I have seen in the past 10 years that I've been here at Atonement, God working, doing a wonderful work in this congregation. Bringing new people. Most of you are new. I think I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that were here when I came, 6, something like that. But most of you have either come recently or come back to Atonement. And God has blessed us with a growing congregation. And that's wonderful, both in numbers and in, I'll say, discipleship. And yet, it's not just us. There is God's world, after all. And it hasn't changed so much since when Jesus looked at it and said, my goodness, the harvest is plentiful. It's huge, it's immense. And yet how few are the laborers. What are we to do then? But pray. Get on your knees and pray the Lord of the harvest. It's his harvest, not ours. To send forth laborers into the harvest hands. And what does that mean? Sometimes our primary task is praying. But at times, God taps us on the shoulder and says, yeah, you prayed that, now you are going to be the answer to that prayer. And so God sends us out into our world, into our community, to our families. And we have open ears to listen and eyes to see what are the needs. Who are the people that we see estranged from God? People slipping through the cracks. People in need, poverty. You can name the situation. And God calls us to act. To speak peace to this situation. I know this week we had like a guy and a gal walking down our street. She had her backpack on. She was yelling at him. He was yelling at her. She evidently lived up the street, but somebody was like, they were not getting along. So I'm out there by the swimming pool. So I just say a prayer for them. I don't know how they turned out, but God says we're to be instruments of peace and healing. Can we be so bold to not only pray for someone in our own personal time, but maybe say, would it be okay if I pray for you for this particular situation or need, whatever it might be? I prayed for Sarah on the phone last night. I prayed for many of you on the phone. God is with us. We don't have to be together. Don't get nervous. I'm not going to get a phone call. I think I got this figured out. There's a poem I want to read to you. It's by one of, if not my favorite, poets. Her name's Mary Oliver. And it's called A Summer Day. A Summer Day. That's what we have, isn't it? Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean. the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I've been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have